I want to give massive thanks to all of my supporting members and patrons. Thank you all so very much. Hello, good evening everyone. Hope you're all well, and sorry for the unusual time. I just thought, well, there's no point in waiting another hour before going on. I've got work tomorrow and I wanted to do a stream tonight because the next 2 nights I'm going to be busy. I hope that you can't hear my little electric heater, or at least not too bad, because I did have the main heating on, and literally as I was about to press go, the hamsters kicked in. And it was squealing like a good one. I am definitely going to have to get that thing serviced. Anyway, let's see who we got in here. Oh, straight from the top, or the bottom. Robski, Pibble, Snowdrop, Czar, apostrophe. A new name. Good evening to you. Errant Massa, Paid Nasa Shield, Brian, Pop, Robson, Turing Test 2, Mr. 42, just call me Avi. Bob Nodell's Gyroscope. Good evening, Bob. Thanks, Bob. Iris Stew, God420. Judy Bassett, hello to you. And scrolling back, there was Blue Feather, was there right near the very first person, I think. Watto UK. Hello to you all. I really do hope you're all doing well. And I hope that you enjoyed my new video that was out. It's turned out to be rather popular. It's done really, really well. I'm just going to actually, while we're here, just call up the stats on it. So I'm just flicking to... saw that I got a DM. Yeah, the stats on it, because it has definitely done very well, which I'm pleased about, because I felt it was an important video. Apparently, and I did get a shout out from Creaky Blinder, thanks pal, on Twitter, and Fight the Flat Earth on his community page, thanks pal, both of which gave me a nice bump in the curve. And yeah, views are up 81% over normal. And it's showing right now 6.7 thousand views, which is 3,000 more than usual. So yeah, it's done really well. I know that it was a hard-hitting video. It was not like my usual fare. As you may have noticed, 1 or 2 rude words may have escaped my lips. But it was one of those things that I felt, yeah, this is the time to do it. And I think, perhaps because I normally don't swear, it had all the more impact on those who know me. I guess anyone new to the channel will just assume that that's what I always do. There we go. Yeah, Matt Powell, despicable, absolutely despicable guy. I was genuinely thoroughly disgusted. There was one bit I'd sworn, and then I thought, do you know what, I'll leave that in, because I was obviously naturally wanting to say something else, and I just thought, leave it in. There's Colon's just popped in. There's a certain team in red I have to watch. Oh, those guys kicking a bag of wind about, is it, Colon? 11 guys, 22 guys, whatever it is, kicking a bag of wind about. Yeah, very important, pal, very important. Oh, very kind. A super chat from Anamorphic Mind for $6.66. Dun dun dun. On behalf of Bev. Enjoy. Oh yes, I will. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, so the video did rather well. If you haven't seen it, I have put a link to it in the description. I'm just checking. Yes, I have. It is about Matt Powell. It is about the most despicable twisting of a dreadful situation, and using that dreadful situation and the despicable twisting thereof to push his religion. Quite disgusting. Now, I knew that most of what he said didn't sound right, but other people have pointed out that it's not just not quite sounding right, it's absolutely totally wrong. And he's been told about it previously, which I wasn't aware of. These things that the shooters at the Columbine massacre, apparently, according to Matt, they went round everyone he said in the school and said, do you believe in God? If they did, bam, you're dead. If they didn't, they moved on. That is not true. Not true. Apparently, one girl was saying, oh God, after she'd been shot, and one of the shooters may have asked her, do you believe in God? But apart from that, that seems to be about it. And the clip of film he showed is from a movie that is apparently based on a book written by the mother of one of the shot children who, and I suppose it's understandable, wanting to think the best of her daughter and so on, but made her out to be a bit of a martyr. Yeah. But Matt has twisted it and used it all to push his religion. Oh, Effie peer review, you haven't missed much other than the hellos. And I was just having a brief chat about that video from day before yesterday. Yeah, so I was thoroughly and totally disgusted. I've seen Matt many times. I often will have a look at his video. There's all sorts of crap about dinosaurs and fossils and all sorts of things. And I've seen him tell untruths. I've seen him ignore what he's been told. I've seen how his comment section is highly censored. In fact, on the video that I was debunking, for want of a better word, someone had said, why are there no comments from atheists? And he said, they have nothing to say. Oh, Matt, I had something to say, only I'm blocked. And I'm sure that's the case with many others. Totally unable to comment due to you either blocking them entirely or deleting their comments. How honest is that? None at all. That's the answer you're looking for, Matt. None at all. No honesty shown, whatsoever. So I thought, because I had mentioned guns, I thought I would just give a little bit of a chat about my thoughts. And I'm going to show you something first before I go any further. I'm going to show you, it has been shown before, a tin can. A Coca-Cola can. Okay? I'll explain why in a minute. Yeah, someone had posted in a comment saying that I'm obviously very pro-gun control. That's not true. That is not true. I have views on guns, but I'm probably pretty much neutral. Now, I know that people hold strong opinions from, and I'm probably exaggerating, from perhaps someone who says, well, you should be able to get your morning paper and an assault rifle, to someone who says you should never ever have a gun for any reason whatsoever, full stop. I'm not at either of those ends. Many years ago, back in the UK, I'm trying to think when it was probably very late. I'm not sure. Actually, I should be able to find out the year. 1 second, because I think it's quite interesting. Just trying to find out the year. 1987. It was 1987. At that time, I was working in a place, and I was chatting to a lady, and she was into shooting, and was a member of a gun club. And I was thinking, do you know what? I find guns fascinating, which I do. I think they can be beautiful pieces of machinery. And I thought, that's an interest I could take up, shooting. And I started to find out about joining a gun club. I've never even held a gun before. But I was interested and wanted to find out more. At that time in the UK, 1987, there was the Hungerford massacre, where someone shot a whole load of people in Hungerford. I don't even know how many people. And the government then brought in a whole new set of gun rules. I don't know all the ins and outs, but one of them was handguns, no. Full stop, no. You can't have handguns. And so I thought, oh, okay. And to be honest, I left it. Nothing, to me, it was no skin off my nose either way. It was a bit of a shame because I fancied having a shoot with a gun, because I can see the attraction in the sport of shooting, definitely. And of course, here in the UK, like I guess many places, people like farmers have guns for pest control and whatever, and people have shotguns for things like clay pigeon shooting or the shooting of grouse and so on, which is not something I'd be interested in, and I don't. My personal opinion is I don't like the idea of that. Shooting for hunting reasons, I can totally accept. Shooting for pest control, I can totally accept. Shooting for sport, as in targets and clays, I totally accepted. And shooting in gun clubs, yeah. But shooting animals just for that sake, I wasn't into. I suppose, with regard to that, I would say I am anti that. But I respect that some people are for it. And it's not my position to tell them not to. Currently, in the UK, that is legal. Fine. Anyway, wind forward a few years, and I had a trip to Arizona, which I've mentioned before. Wonderful trip, loved the place. And I got friendly with this chap and went round and had a meal with his family a couple of times. And he said, "Hey, do you want to go out shooting?" And I thought, well, this is an opportunity. And I said, well, yeah, but I'm not really into the idea of hunting animals, just to kill them. And he said, no, we would hunt rattlesnakes. And I said, well, can you eat them? And he said, yeah. So I thought, okay, that's fine. So he took me into his office or his den, I think that's probably what he called it, and he had a gun cabinet and he had several weapons. I can't remember the exact number. He had a 45 handgun, a .22 rifle, I think he called it a Marines battle rifle, I don't know, some sort of semi-automatic thing. Very interesting, and he showed me them, and I was able to handle the guns. He showed me how to open them and so on, and where the safeties were, and we arranged to go out shooting. And the story which I have told before, his 12-year-old daughter wandered in while we got all these guns out, and she said, "Oh, my favourite's the .22," which I thought was fascinating, because she had been taught how to use the guns, taught how to handle them, taught how to respect them. And we went out shooting. Didn't see any rattlesnakes anyway, so we set up some targets, one of which was this very same Coke can. It was my first ever shot, and there's the hole. It was put upside down on a bush, so it was at an angle, and there's the exit wound. And I've kept this very carefully. My wife nearly threw it out because she thought it was rubbish, but I caught her in time before she did. So anyway, I have used guns. I thoroughly enjoyed using those weapons. An M1 carbine, I wouldn't know Dublin. It may well have been. I don't know. One of them was one of those, I can never remember the name. It's not, a Smith & Wesson is a handgun, isn't it? It's is it a Winchester, the one where that they actually, sorry, my other hand's not there, they actually pump it like that. Yeah, I don't know what it's called anyway. So anyway, this video had come out with Matt talking about the Columbine massacre, and he was talking about these two lads wandering around shooting people. My looking into it is these two boys, because that's all they were armed with explosives and I think 2 rifles or semi-automatics each. So they're pretty well armed. And in the video I had said that the reason they did this wasn't because of God. The reason they did this wasn't because of atheism. It was because of some sort of mental instability. One was known to be a psychopath, and the other one had all sorts of issues, including wishing to get revenge on people he thought had harmed him in some way. All plus the easy access to heavy firearms, which is true. In the United States, you can have access to weapons that in some other countries, like the UK, you literally cannot get. You'd have to go to criminal sources to get hold of some of those weapons if you could still manage it. So I want to be clear, I was not commenting on the rights or wrongs of the US gun system. Now, as I said, people have all sorts of views, from they should be almost freely available to never available. I sit probably somewhere in the middle. I am not judging the United States for that. The United States makes its own laws, as does every other country. But I was pointing out that in the US, with the current laws, it is relatively easy to get access to those sort of weapons, which those lads did. Incidentally, someone had pointed out in the comments that one or more of the weapons were bought by a friend of theirs, a Christian friend of theirs. You didn't mention that, did you, Matt? One thing that I did find interesting when I was thinking about it afterwards, about his video, he'd said about these lads, he'd said about them apparently asking all these people if they believed in God and so on. He made zero comment about the fact that two teenagers were able to get hold of weapons like that, which I find quite interesting. I suspect it's because I don't know what Matt's personal view is on gun control. He may be totally a total gun controller, or he may be a total freedom to buy weapons. I don't know, and that in itself I don't have a problem with either way. But obviously, he hasn't got the balls to even question the fact that these teens had weapons, because he knows that I don't know, 50% of people in the States who may see his video would be angry with him because he said control guns or don't control guns. He's just saw the opportunity to twist the story for the sake of his God. Now, for me, I have my own personal opinions about the US gun system. I do. But it's not my place to tell Americans they should do this or they should do that. That's up to them. Different countries have different rules. The level of guns that we have in this country, other countries would find perhaps very permissive. Whereas, is it Switzerland? I think nearly everyone knows how to use weapons because they all undergo a certain amount of military training and they're all taught how to use weapons. What I wanted to make clear is I'm not anti-gun. I'm not desperately pro-gun either, but I think it's one of those subjects that needs a lot of very careful thought. The saddest thing, I think, is whether totally pro-gun or totally anti-gun, that often those people can't talk to each other without getting really, really angry. Fox hunting in the UK is, I guess, the closest sort of divisive subject, because there is no divisiveness about guns, because in this country, basically, you don't get guns unless you're in a gun club, unless you're a farmer, unless you've got a license and it's monitored by the police and so on. But the closest divisive thing is fox hunting here. Now, I don't know how many people here are from the UK, and of you, a lot of you may be pro-fox hunting. A lot of you may be anti-fox hunting. To me, it makes no difference. Okay? I've got some friends, or me and Mrs. Sense will have some friends who are very, very pro-hunting. They go fox hunting. Okay? We have had discussions about it. We have argued the pros and the cons, and it's got heated. And then, right, we've done that subject. Right, what do you want to drink? And move on. I really honestly think that whatever your views are, you should be able to talk about something, get upset about something, argue about something, and keep that separate from everything else. Okay? So, those of you watching who are pro-fox hunting, you've probably gathered from what I've said, I'm anti-fox hunting. But I have no problem with any single one of you who may be pro-fox hunting or a fox hunter themselves. So please don't think, I've got to unsubscribe, because that's got nothing to do with my channel. It's got nothing to do with my attitude to any of you. And I would hope with regard to hunting, you say, okay, well, I disagree with Mr. Sensible about that. I think he's totally wrong. Cool. What about flat earth? What about this? What about that? And I feel the same with guns. I am not trying to push an agenda at all. Like I said, I enjoyed the shooting I did, the small amount I did. If I could do that tomorrow, I would do it again. I wish, I suppose in some ways, the gun laws in this country were a bit more flexible. If so, then I probably would actually take up something like clays. I have done clay pigeon shooting once here in the UK. I could imagine taking up something like that, or target shooting. I have no need to go hunting itself. So I'm definitely not against it. And I regret that due to something like the Hungerford massacre, they had to change, or they felt they had to change the gun laws, which then prevented me from taking up a hobby or sport that I was interested in starting. So I hope that everyone can see where I'm coming from. I did see a super chat or two came in. Let's see. Oh, that was on behalf of Bev one, and then another one from Second Best Bob. I've got a mate in here to show him your channel. Shout out for him. I'll read the name in a second. Thanks, Mr. Sensible. Sorry to go off topic. That was a super chat for £5. No worries at all. And that name is a big shout out to Pi Bavade. Pi Bavade, good evening to you and welcome to the channel. Subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, make them subscribe too. You know it makes sense. Right. Let's jump back and see what a few people said. Max Peters just said that's such a sensible way of having an argument. I really like that. Well, thank you, Max. Now, covering both these subjects, Max, you may be, for the sake of argument, absolutely pro-gun, absolutely pro-fox hunting, and I have no problem with that. That is, that would be your view, your opinion. That's fine. I would quite happily sit down, have a discussion with you, and say, well, I can see that and understand. Okay, I accept that, Max, but I disagree with you on that, and we could carry on. It's not a problem. It really isn't. Really isn't. Bob Nadell's gyroscope says, I don't see the need for hundreds of guns like some Americans have. Yeah, I suppose if it's a hobby and it's the sort of collecting aspect of it, I can understand that. I suppose it's what the need is. But as I said, it's a different country and it is their laws and rules. But they should be able to talk about it, should be able to argue about it sensibly. I think it's, I know there's the NRA, National Rifle Association, are big lobbyists, and that's fine. But also, I think it's not so fine if an individual politician is scared to either give their views or the views of many of their voters, because they're just worried about, will I get voted in again because I'm going to lose support because of a gun lobby or the lobby on the other side or whatever. I think that is a shame. Mr. X, Mr. Y says, thinks they should hunt foxes in the cities and do something about the idiots who feed these critters. Oh dear, I need to let you into a little secret, Mr. X. When I was a kid, there was an abandoned house up the road. I think some old boy had died and it was there for several years, and foxes moved into the garden. And one summer we saw this fox go trotting down the street on one side, down to the bottom of the road, cross over, trotting up and seeing what he could find to eat, and decided to give him a bit of chicken pie. And she took it, or he took it from my hand. I do know where you're coming from, but that was quite special. Actually had a fox take some food from my hand. Beautiful creatures. But yeah, they can be a pest, of course they can. And I actually, just with regard to fox hunting, since I mentioned it, I'm not against fox control. I live in a rural area. Many people I know are farmers and that. I know that they cause issues and problems. It's the method of control I have an issue with. Oh, and Bob Nadell says, don't get me wrong, I like guns too. I own a shotgun myself. There you go. There you go. Very wise man. Turing Test 2 says, I'm not sure I know about any of that, but I do know I like fluffy kittens. quite right, Turing Test 2. Just don't go around shooting them. That's not the done thing. So I hope that everyone, pro or anti-fox hunting, pro or anti-guns, can accept and respect my opinion, because I do accept and respect yours. But I did think it needed bringing up. I know it's a hot trigger topic, and I know that at least one person, they were very reasonable. We had a brief discussion in the comments, there's no problem. But I know that one person had said about my comment when I said easy access to firearms, but it was not, definitely not a pop at the system. It was just a true fact that, comparatively speaking, in the US, you have easy access to firearms. I mean, I believe you can get them in some sort of supermarkets and sort of Walmart or whatever. Here, it would only be gun shops and with massive background checks and police licensing and so on. So it's a very different world. Right, so we got Now Opinion, super chat at 55 Swedish krona. Thank you, Now, saying, I hate guns, but I'd like to hear more about Judy Bassett's Viking's word and a sword, the picture. I think, do you mean a Viking sword? Well, there we go. Have we got to be armed with swords now? Now Opinion's just super chatted 55 Swedish krona, asterisk sword. That must be the most expensive spelling mistake I've ever seen now, thank you. And Marty the Mad Scientist, super chatted $5 Canadian. Gods, guns and babies. I believe you're free to hold any of them. It's when they go off that I want to control. Oh, thank you, I like that. Yeah, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed my time shooting. He was actually, the guy was a Vietnam vet, and he knew his way around weapons. And we had a great time out in the desert. And it was even at one point, he heard a car, someone in a Jeep or something, in a distance somewhere. So we stopped shooting until we could no longer hear it, because of safety. I felt totally safe with him. And yeah, it was great fun. Let's see what else has been said. Got my carry gun right here by my side for when I leave the house. Yeah, now, Andrew, that's something I've seen. I did see a YouTube video. I forget which states. Some states are open carry, aren't they? You can basically wear your weapon in view, and or carry it. These guys were doing. They were pushing the fact that they could, and so they were doing things like weeding the pavements, the sidewalks, carrying sort of semi-automatics or automatic. I don't know what the weapons are. I know very little of such things, and of course people were noticing them, because it wasn't even just a handgun or a pistol or revolver or whatever on what do you call it? On a belt, but a full-size weapon slung over their shoulders. And so, of course, people got concerned, called the police. The police officers came up, and these guys said, oh, yeah, I've got whatever permits, and this is a so-and-so weapon, and the officer knew his weapon. They had to check it, and he safely checked it and gave him the weapon back. He said, absolutely. He said, you know what, you're totally allowed to do this. Why don't you join the police gun club, and we'll teach you more about it and how to use the weapon properly, which I found really impressive. I really did. Now Opinion has just used his free member super chat, member for 21 months, to say, oh, I could have used this for the spelling mistake. I'll tell you what now, I'm glad you didn't make a spelling mistake in that one. That would have been embarrassing, wouldn't it? But thank you very much. Kerbitai says it's strange for people who don't feel the need to have a gun on all times. That's right. We live in different places, whether that's different countries or different states. Yeah. If I was to see someone walking down the street with a weapon, I would feel it would feel odd. Now, if I was in America, in fact, let me tell you, when I was driving across Arizona, I was running low on fuel. And it said, next town or whatever, 50 miles. Great. I thought, well, I hope I make it. And it was one of those sort of 2-horse towns, tiny little place. and I was driving through, and I reached the other side, and I thought, oh no, what the hell am I going to do? There must be some fuel here somewhere. And there was this ranch house quite near the road with a big sort of gravel area, and there was a guy there with a horse, picking at the horse's hoof, and his daughter was sort of sat on the veranda. So I pulled in, and I know that America's different, so I know that you have to be more careful perhaps than here. Here I could just get out, walk over and say hi. But I thought I'd be a bit more careful. So I got out carefully, made sure my hands were on full view, and just walked over without rushing, without appearing threatening, stopped a reasonable distance away and said, oh, hi, good afternoon. And this guy, he did have a weapon on a belt, and he had a knife about 6 inches long that he'd been digging at the horse's hoof, and he ran his fingers up and down the blade. Yeah? What the hell do you want? Oh, I just wanted to know when there's a gas station. Is there one in town? And he pointed me the way to go. But yeah, that sort of thing felt really different, really weird. But it's part of the experience of visiting somewhere different. I was in Phoenix for 2 weeks in total, and there were a couple of shootings. There was a drive-by shooting where someone sprayed a couple buildings with bullets as well. But you know what? I felt totally safe. I really did. It didn't worry me at all. So there we go. Right, so just having a look at a couple of other things. What we got? Tom Walbrown, hello Tom, says, Mr. Bad Arseable. I did find where he made up the question of God and killed anyone who said yes. You're being tough is me asleep in church with kittens. Let your hair down, Mr. Crazyable. Yeah, it was quite what's the word? Refreshing to be able to speak totally freely. I don't have to bite my lip all the time. I do swear, but I don't swear like a trooper every other word. I mean, if I did, I'd probably find it quite difficult to do live streams without swearing. But I do swear from time to time. I made a conscious choice that I don't need to in my videos. Others do, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But this video, this man made me so angry. I thought, what the heck? What the heck? I thought. I just gotta say it as I feel. I've had another super chat from Bjorn Kamitz. Good evening, Bjorn, and thank you very much for 100 Swedish krona. It's always nice to find you live. Thank you. That's what my missus says every morning. I think she's thinking of not inheritance, but the will. It's always nice to find you live. As for guns, to me they're fascinating in a mechanical, physical and disciplinary way. Never to hurt or kill, other than cans. Yeah, I do find them fascinating, and I can totally understand the fascination with them. They are incredible pieces of machinery, absolutely beautiful, definitely. I agree with you totally, Bjorn. Telling stories is a talent, Mr. Sensible has it. Well, thank you, Helco. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. It helps when they're all true, the ones that I do tell. And I've had another super chat from Stephen Alley for $2 saying anything used improperly is dangerous and or deadly. Absolutely true. Of course, in the UK, we've had more of a problem with knives. The main reason being you can't get guns, or very, very hard to get guns. There are of course, naughty people that manage to get guns on the criminal black market or whatever. But yeah, knives are the weapon of choice. And of course, a knife definitely can be just as lethal as a gun. Absolutely, of course they can. But I suppose I suppose you could run around with a knife, stab, run on, stab. You could do that. But I just think due to the nature of the weapon, it's going to be harder to kill or maim so many people. But it does happen. So you're absolutely right. That a gun is not the only deadly implement. And now Pinion Soup chatted again for 55 Swedish krona. In Compton, they warned me from wearing certain coloured clothes or walking on the wrong side of the street. Otherwise I could get shot. Is that because you've got such a bad taste in clothes now? Could that be it? I don't know. Is Compton in the US? It doesn't sound like a Swedish town. That sounds more like an American place. Certain colour clothes. Could that be for political reasons, sport reasons? I don't know. I know little of such things. And Tony Regime says, if ever there was a reason to swear, it was at Matt Powell for his video. Yeah, if anyone does see any sort of response from Matt or comment about Matt, by Matt about me, please let me know. I know that he's gone sort of fairly big time on Mr. Jones 1972. Keep showing little clips of him. Oh, Compton is near LAX, gang related. My goodness. Yeah, that's something I don't understand really, is gangs. This is not just an American thing. Here we have postcode gangs, that's zip codes, fighting over the turf of this postcode or that postcode. Now, I mean, I know that, for instance, drug dealers have their areas, their turf, and they'll protect their turf to stop other dealers dealing in it. I mean, obviously, I think that's wrong, but there's some logic behind it. But just defending a postcode, that's very much, what's the word? Tribal, for no readily apparent reason. But that's quite scary, wearing certain colours in certain areas. Wow. And Tom Walbrown posted a link to the article in the comments of the video earlier today, showing that Matt lied and he's a bad person. Yeah, we all know he's a bad person. And incidentally, I only saw 2 people making any sort of defence. 2 people, and there was an awful lot of comments, had made comments that weren't negative against Matt. The first one I was rather surprised at, really, was Kyle Adams, the same Kyle Adams who's been on here a few times from the Flat Earth Institute of Science. He was saying I should be careful that I don't get accused of harassment, and I dropped a lot of F-bombs. Yes, I did drop a lot of F-bombs, and I make no bones about it. I didn't have to, but I put a warning at the front of the video. So if anyone didn't want to watch something with stronger language, with what's the word? Not too hard, but potentially upsetting topics, being the shooting, they would be aware and they could decide not to watch the video. And I did let him know that swearing a few times is okay as far as YouTube's concerned. My channel is monetized. That video was monetized. We can, or certain of us can, prejudge our videos for advertising. You can say, yeah, it's got a little bit of mild swearing, it's got a lot of swearing, it's riddled with swearing of the strongest sort, and other things. You know, is there any nudity? Is there any this? Is there anything that shows blood and injury, and so on? And then there's different levels of advertising that then will apply. Some advertisers will say, well, I'm not happy to advertise on a video with quite harsh swearing in it. That's fine. But basically, swearing is not banned from YouTube. So I did tell him that was okay. And as for harassment, someone making a video which then gets called out by me or by another person, that's not harassment. That's my right to reply. He has made a statement. I'm saying it's a load of evil rubbish, and happen to be swearing in my description of it as rubbish. In no way is that harassment. Now, if I started doing things like following him around, commenting nasty things on every one of his videos, if he's got a Twitter feed, start going on there, directing people or asking people to bombard him and stuff, that would be harassment, Kyle. Not doing a single response video to a video. If he does another video tomorrow that I disagree with, I may well do a response to that. That's not harassment. Again, that's responding to a video. You're allowed to do that. So that was one person who, he wasn't defending what Matt said. I'll be fair to Carl, he was not defending what Matt said. But the biggest problem he could see is that I said fuck several times. Okay, it's bad. I shouldn't use that word. Sorry. But what about the fact that he is lying about what happened? He is lying about the what happened during that incident when many young teenagers died. He is twisting that incredibly sad story and using it to support his religion. He is blaming it on those two because that he believes they are atheists, and that the cause of them feeling like that is that they've been taught evolution. That is dishonest, that is disgusting, and lots of other words beginning with dis. It's appalling. I just think it's a shame, Kyle, that you, as well as commenting on me, which you're entitled to do, I think it's a shame you couldn't comment on what Matt said. So that was one person. But there was someone else who positively defended Matt, and someone got into an argument with him in the comment. I believe it's in the pinned comment thread, so you can go and have a look at it. And this person disclosed that they had been, because they were talking about God, he disclosed that he had been abused as a child. The reason he disclosed that was because this person was basically saying, well, God allowed all this to happen, and we all learn a lesson, and things get better because of it. And so this person was saying, well, look, I was abused as a child. Are you saying that God obviously didn't stop that? How can that be right? And this disgusting person was basically saying that, yeah, well, because you're abused, I'm sure that means that you're determined to be a good father if you're a father. So, things have turned out for the best, and it's great. No. What would be great if that guy had not been abused as a child. It'd be great if people didn't excuse abusers and basically say it's part of God's plan. That is absolutely disgusting. I mean, I could talk to people whether they're totally pro-gun, totally anti-gun, totally pro or anti-fox hunting. I don't think I could talk to you. I think that is foul, despicable, twisting of religion, and absolutely total lack of empathy for someone who has disclosed in an open forum that they were abused as a child. That's unforgivable. I'm surprised he didn't just swear his head off at you and leave. He carried on arguing with you, so more power to him. I do apologise, I can't remember your name, but well done you. Well done. I've had a super chat from Sofa King Sleepy. $2 US if I make you say the F word again. Okay, well that's your message for $2. I'll tell you what, I can say it as many times as you want. What you do is you drag the timeline back a little bit and watch me say it. Look, there's just no way. You cannot make me say the word fuck just for $2. I'm not going to do it. Okay? Damn. Yes. And I see we got Flerspective in the house. Good evening, Flerspective. Good job with that scumbag Matt Powell. Thank you. I kind of went off myself on the Gold Rush Paranormal Scumbag too. I know. I think you were just we're just uncovering the real dirtbags. I agree, definitely. But thank you for the message, Ranty. And FE Peer Review says gangs like the Crips are almost entirely structured around drug territories. Yeah, I mean drugs. I know drive gang an awful lot, don't they? And now Pinion, who's on a roll tonight with the old 55 Swedish krona super chats. Thank you. Now. Says the F word is of Germanic origin, related to Dutch, German and Swedish. Dutch, German and Swedish words for to strike and to move back and forth. To move back and forth. Oh, I wonder why that word then seems appropriate. A bit of up and down, a bit of jiggy. Is that what it means? A little bit jiggy. Yeah, I can see that now. Thank you. Just called me Avi, says, not my place to say, but this just turned dark fast. Not in a troll type way, but keep your cool, Mr. S. Have some chocolate, will make you feel better. No, Avi, I feel fine, absolutely fine. But I think sometimes you need to talk about these things that are difficult things. And obviously, Ranty, with regard to that guy, sorry, I can't see his name now. Where was he? I can't see. About the guy he was calling out, the paranormal guy, and myself, and Arctic Reflections has done a couple of videos about that Matt Powell, as well. So if you haven't, you should check his out. He could do with more support for his channel, Arctic Reflections. Perhaps one of the mods can find a link to Arctic Reflections video. He did a 10-minute talk about it, but he did a full-on anger version of the video beforehand. So perhaps a mod can find a link to Arctic Reflections channel and video. That'd be great. Thank you. Maybe Carl Adams can speak with Oakley about his language. Good call, FE Peer Review. That would be nice. I won't hold my breath, though. And I think, yes, there was. No, that's the one I just read. Oh, thank you. Ranty has just found that. Appreciate that. So, yeah, Arctic Reflections is a nice guy. He should get more support from his channel. And as I said, he did the video about Matt. So I definitely want to support him because he is calling out someone like Matt for his disgusting behaviour. Oh, and now and Mr. 42 have found it as well. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate that. Wow. There's 47 minutes of my life I won't get back again. Well, actually, I will, because I could watch it again, couldn't I? I never thought of that. I said to Mrs. Sensible the other night, I said, do you realise if I died, all my videos are still up here. Would you watch them? So you could still see me and keep me in your life? She said, maybe. Oh, great. Great, isn't it? This is wonderful. I'm here for eternity. I found immortality. And that's all right, as long as my missus isn't doing anything else. Otherwise, she'll go off and do something else. Oh, good question. I've had a super chat from Flerf Perspective. When can we expect another first time watching? £2 super chat. Thanks, Ranty. I know. The problems are twofold. One, finding the time to sit down with Mrs. S and watch a film. Two, finding the time to yawn when I'm not on a live stream. And three shall be the number of the counting. The number of the counting shall be three. Three is then finding the time to edit it. I know. I did think yesterday, I think it was, when I was looking and I saw the date of the last video, I thought I really do need to do one because it is great fun. If you haven't checked it, my joint channel, joint with Mrs. Sensible, called First Time Watching, where we do first time reaction videos to movies. I forget if there's 2 or 3 on there. It's not that I've decided not to proceed. It's just that I've been rather busy with everything else, what we work, getting ready for our new holiday, and doing videos. It's hard to find the time. But yeah, I know. I feel bad. I shall nip off and shoot myself, Ranty. Don't worry. I'll be quite humane. And also, I will make sure that I've got a firearms licence and I keep the weapon locked in a secure gun cupboard in a secret place. Mr. S, we could deep fake your face and you could carry on after life. Wow. This is it. Who needs heaven when you got YouTube? You could carry on forever. This is good. Oh, and Ranty's posted a link. Is that to my first time watching? It is. Thanks, Ranty. I just need to cover a more popular video. I know. The problem is, a lot of the popular ones I have already seen, or Mrs. S has, or we both have, because a lot of our free time, if we get an evening and I'm not doing stuff here, we'll sit down and watch some stuff, usually films. Although right now we're working our way through all the Stargate SG-1s. She's seen Universe. We're watching the wrong way round. She's seen Universe, seeing SG-1 right now. We're about, I think, the end of season 4, something like that. And then we're going to watch Atlantis. 42. Anything thinks I'm real? I'm not sure, Mr. 42. Would you know, I understand all the words, though not necessarily in that order. Would you like to perhaps rephrase it? Sorry, pal. Ali is not spamming, so... No, you're not. Oh, and PJ CNET, I did see you in there, really. I was going to say hello and got distracted. Hello. And I was glad to see you did have that debate. I didn't get a chance to watch it all. I did watch little bits of it. I know that's the first debate you did, so congratulations for doing it. Perhaps sometime we can arrange and have a debate on here, if you're up to it. Because you know you'll get a fair shout, and I won't be abusive or muting or anything like that. Bjorn Kammett says, Mr. Sensible, you're immortal. Thank you. Thing is, will I be around to see it? I don't know. Hey, I thought of a brilliant place to advertise my YouTube channel. I'm going to see if I can pull it up on screen. This will be quite unique. Hold on. I've got to find the right website, which I've got. Find the right page. Oh, no, it's not going to show up now. Will it? No, it won't show up because of the time of day. Darn. Right. Well, okay, let me tell you. I'm going on this holiday. We're going in 24 days, not that I'm counting. They've got some live webcams there. One of which is over this gorgeous spit of sand. And I'm thinking that maybe one afternoon I might carve a large Mr. Sensible YouTube advert in the sand, which you can have a look at on live webcam. Or the alternative is I'll sneak out early in the morning so it'll be there for quite a few hours before anyone notices. And what I do is I will let people know when I'm going to do it, because what I won't be able to do is grab the video from the website, so I'd like someone to grab it for me. I don't know how long it will be there before someone decides to rub it out with their feet, or before I get thrown off the advertising for spamming my channel. So, sorry, thrown off the island for spamming my channel. But I'm going to have a go. It should be a laugh. Do it. I often watch those beach cams. They're great. Thank you, Ranty. Yeah, they did have 4 cams, 2 of which don't seem to be working. One is across the beach, but it's quite a distance. The other one, I know because I remember where the camera is, and I know the exact position. I know, and of course we can look at it on the website. Well, yeah, no, not in. Yeah, I'm in picture now. It's a big area of fairly flat sand, right in full view of the camera. So I'm definitely going to do it. It should be good for a giggle. Anything else I should try and show when I'm on my holes? Can I justify it as, to the taxman as a trip for my YouTube channel? Well, I had to place an advert, so therefore I had to travel for 2 weeks there. Oh dear. Hello. Oh, what was that? Frexijoy Lazada. Frexijoy Lazada. Good evening to you, and hello. New name. Hello, host. Good morning. Well, it's good evening to me, but it's obviously good morning to you. Good morning. So I'm going to guess you're from the US of A. That's where I would guess. And there's been another super chat from some old dude for $10 US. Fine, shiny dollars they are. Defacing delicate ecosystem. But, not really. It's just the sand. It's just the sand. But I thought, well, hey, that's good for a laugh, isn't it? And it'd be different if I can. I don't know how good I can't remember how good the internet is. I know we got internet in the rooms, but we've got only 500. I think it's 500 meg a day. That's a reasonable amount, isn't it? If it's not high quality video. But what I will do is I will let people know when I'm going to do it and give the link, so people can go and watch me put this advert on the sand, and if they grab the video, and then they can send me a copy so that I can use it in some way at some time. I mean, that would be lovely. And hello, Manuel Crazy, or Manuel Crazy. Manuel Crazy. He go crazy. He know nothing. Good evening to you, Manuel. Good to see you here. There's no such thing as a genuine... Oh, this paranormal. Yes, that paranormal guy. He was the one with these voice box things. I heard about those things years ago. They just make noises, and then you say, yes, he was asking about the price of fish. Yes, definitely. That's not what he said. It was... Oh, yes, that definitely. It's advice on the stock market. Yeah. Mr. S is behaving like a kid in a candy store. Glad you're happy. Thank you, Manuel. Yeah, I'm definitely happy we're going on holiday. Obviously, no one has really gone anywhere in the past couple of years. Well, I suppose some people have, but not many. We had a short trip to Edinburgh, which we really enjoyed, and saw the famous Fight the Flat Earth. And we had another trip to sort of the Melton Mowbray area, which is just a weekend away. So it's a long time since I've been abroad, and I think probably the last time we went was to this very last place, and it was 5 years ago. So a lot of saving up and a bit of a treat, and off we're going to go. Right, well, let's have a look. Let's get a few people in. It's 9 o'clock. I said that, well, the stream did start early, and I said it's not going to be the longest of streams. So the very latest I'll stop, I think, is going to be 10 o'clock UK time. That's GMT, UTC, Zulu time. So let's get a couple people in. I'm just going to pick the 3 on the list for now, and then I'll bring a couple more in a while. So if I switch on my desktop sound, giving them a chance to switch off the YouTube stream so we don't get a ton of feedback, we have in the room Mr. 42, Miss Zumi, and Flo Rider. Good evening.
Hey.
Hey, yeah.
Good evening. How are you?
Hi, Flo.
Humans.
And Mr. 42. Hello to you.
Hello.
Well, actually, I haven't checked the audio levels. I trust they're okay. I'll try and keep an eye on them. So, guys, I don't know what you thought about my thoughts, and you are totally free, please, to totally disagree with me. My thoughts are on the whole Matt Powell God thing, and all the stuff I said about guns as well.
You had every right to say what you did about Matt Powell. Like
Yeah.
I said, he is a truly evil man, disgusting evil man.
Yeah, I think he is.
You warned us a day before that it would be a little bit type of video in your language, but I thought it was pretty tame at the end.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I could actually see how angry you were, and you were holding back still.
Yes. Well, just so everyone else knows, members and patrons got a heads up about 24 hours or so beforehand. Because what I didn't want, guys, is someone to say, oh, a nice jolly Mr. Sensible video. I wonder if he's going to poke fun at some flat earthers, and then get bombarded with a horrible subject and a whole load of swearing. So I wanted people to know. Yeah. But you felt I was holding back.
Yeah, absolutely. You were holding back. That was visible.
Well, there was that one bit I said, and I did at that one time, but I left it in as is. Audio is good, says Microraptor. Thank you, and it looks good at my end as well. Thank you.
I was actually screaming at the television when I was playing the video from Mr. Sensible, debunk the guy. Those guys did not ask the people if they believe in God. Debunk him. No, it's not correct.
That never happened. That's something that never happened.
Yeah, but I heard the rumors before, indeed. It has been spreading around those lies.
Well, I'm glad that I'm not the only one who was disgusted with it. I know that Creaky was disgusted with it because he posted a tweet saying, should I do this video? And I said, look, I've already done it and it's out tonight. So whether he does it still, I don't know. But he did put a shout out for that, which I'm grateful for. Oh, Repo Sandman says, did you know that between 250,000 and 600,000 guns are stolen in the US every year? My goodness. I didn't even know there was that many guns in existence. That's a lot, isn't it?
No, the bunker is going to have to do an expose on Matt Powell then pretty soon, if that's the case. We've already done Kent Hovind, so...
Well, yeah, I think I've done Kent video before. I do look out for his videos, but most of them seem to either be exactly the same or about 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the most interesting of persons.
No, not really.
Right. Well, we've got a couple more in here. Let's get a couple more people in. So this time I'll go from the top. So I'll bring in Microraptor and God420, also known, or previously known as Glass Monster. Hello to you too.
Hello, how you doing?
Not so bad.
I'm surprised.
So I'm just turning yours up a bit, Glass.
I just said surprise. I'm on screen.
Oh, I heard someone else. Was that Micro?
No, she her mic off. It's like
Yeah, disabled. I thought I heard someone else's voice. Not sure. Adam L says in the chat, I still get aggravated by this video, Mr. S. Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
There.
yeah.
And I've got my COVID mask on.
I thought that was a beard, man.
That's a beard. That's not a beard? Wow.
Unfortunately, no one else can see it, so basically, Glass Monster's got his cat stuck across his face. Yeah. Yeah, so Flo, Micro, Zoomy, well, all of you, what are your thoughts on it? About both the God thing with Matt Powell and his video, and the fact I've spoken about guns. Did you think that was a good idea, a bad idea? Do you agree with me, disagree with me? And I honestly don't mind your opinions.
I agree with you. Guns, respect them, treat them properly, and be well trained on them. I have nothing wrong with them being around.
Yeah, exactly. I have the same. I mean, I'm a socialist, but I have no problem with guns. I in fact, agree with Karl Marx on that. That no person should be liberated from their gun.
One saved me from a bear, and another saved me in a fight.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Say
I
again.
I don't personally like guns. I don't really see the appeal, but like people have the right to enjoy things. I don't understand, obviously. So yeah, I think people have a right to have them. You know, they are tools to kill. So be careful with them and use them responsibly and all that.
Can I just ask what country you come from? You don't have to say if you don't want to.
Sweden.
So in Sweden, what are the rules there? Is that true that a lot of people have, like in Austria, have the military training and know how to use guns, or?
I don't know. I would assume that the military knows how to use them.
Yes, but I think in some countries, nearly everyone sort of does 2 years military. Isn't that the case in Sweden? They do either military service or non-military service for 2 years, which might be things like the fire service and so on. Is that true, or did I get that wrong?
Yeah, we used to have it, then we didn't have it, and then we have it again. So we've had it, and then we switched. And when I was age, we would be recruited for that. It was sort of, I got the option, or I didn't get the option because I had bad both eyesight and hearing. I was personally very happy with that. So, yeah.
So I mean, I guess then the ones who opted for the military service would learn how to use guns.
Yeah.
But then I guess they'd be taught how to use them, respect them properly. So.
Yeah. I don't quite remember how the rules are, but yeah.
Yeah. So,
but it's not something that people have. It's not like you see guns everywhere. Like, people don't have guns generally.
and yet in Sweden you've got a lot of countryside, haven't you? It's a low population to the amount of country, so there's more possibility for hunting with guns. I mean, in the UK, we're so crowded, really, that all the land is pretty much in use. So unless it's land sort of designated for that, like where they do grouse shooting or whatever, you've got a bit. Unless you're a farmer who owns a lot of land, the options for wandering around with a gun and shooting things is a lot less anyway than a country with a lot more space.
Yeah, there are people who hunt, obviously, and I don't know the rules for that, what they are allowed to own and not own, and whatever. But yeah, they get them from somewhere. I don't really know the laws around it, but yeah, we have people who hunt for fun.
Yeah, and I mean we do have people hunting here. I don't really know all the ins and outs. I know there's grouse shooting, but that is more for the sport, in inverted commas, of the shooting. Although pheasant shooting as well. But then the pheasants are eaten. I don't know about grouse. I don't know if you eat grouse or not. And then the money paid to go shooting then supports the countryside where they're raised, I believe. I'm not, just in case anyone's wondering, I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just the thing. That's the way it is here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, we got a couple more in the waiting room, so let's bring them in as well. Let's make this a bit of a party. So we got Captain Welshie, and we got Nimrod, no doubt with his cat again as well. Good evening, guys.
He has a shoulder cat, not a beard
A
cat.
shoulder cat.
Shoulder cat.
Chosen cat.
Wow, that's interesting. Blue Feather says, I was raised in the woods, surrounded by farms, never used a gun to hunt, used a bow. Now, that will take skill. And Richard Taylor says grouse is eaten as well. Well, I feel a bit better about that. If it was just shooting and then, not being funny, the animal was just disposed of, that'd be quite bad. But at least if the animal was eaten. Yeah.
It's funny because I was actually trained in Kyoto. Kyoto was a Japanese form of archery on horseback.
Oh, right. Yes, I have heard of that. I wouldn't have recognised the word, but I have heard of that, yes.
It was rather fun. I was about 12 years old to 16. I was trained in Kyoto as well as classical sword fighting. I came from a privileged life, okay?
Yeah, no. Hey, you've got nothing to be ashamed of. You know, a privilege is a privilege. You know, you make the most of it. It's if you abuse that privilege, that's the problem, isn't it? And Mr. Jones 72, who I was talking about earlier on, is in the stream. Mr. Jones, I was just saying that how I'd done this Matt Powell video, and I asked if anyone could keep an eye out just in case he issues any sort of response or mentions me. And I said, because he's always mentioning Mr. Jones 72. He's got a bit. He's got a bit of a thing for you, hasn't he, Mr. Jones? Yeah, definitely. Oh dear. Oh, Beyond Commit says, to own a gun in Sweden, you need a reason to, like hunting or competition, and you can lose that license with a simple public drunk felony. I think that's probably quite wise. I mean, here you have to be licensed for a firearm, and at any time, for whatever reason, the police could take that away from you. And I know guns are expensive, but they could literally be taken away from you. Yeah.
Yep, that's. I do know a hunter here in Sweden, and to get a license for a hunter's gun, you actually have to have a piece of land that is yours to hunt on before you can get the license.
Right. So that's going to be a severe limitation for most people. I mean, I have a piece of land. But if I was shooting on this, I'd probably kill a neighbour.
Well, what I mean land, I mean you have to have hunting land.
I know what you mean.
With hunting rights on it. So he has to go really far up north, and I'm quite a bit down. I'm the south of Stockholm. So
yeah. Okay. Oh,
yeah, it's a weird.
Mr. Jones 72 has said that Matt has said he would debate you. Well, Mr. Jones, you've got to call him out on that. Definitely. Give it a go. Because I saw he popped you in that latest video of his. You haven't debated him, have you? But he popped you in that latest video where he had all those clips of atheists saying how Matt had beaten me in a debate. It's great. He knows his stuff, does Matt? Yeah.
Let's get about Matt Powell official.
Repo Sandman says 0 requirements for training in the US really, unless you get a concealed carry permit. Yeah. I think if I, obviously I'm not a US citizen, I wouldn't know. Even if I moved to the US, I don't know how it would be with regard to myself having a gun. But let's assume that I could, just like any US citizen. I think, personally speaking, I wouldn't mind having the training for my own safety. Never mind just general respect and how you treat a gun with respect to other people, but just for my own safety, so that it didn't screw up. Yeah.
Well, 2 rules that I remember from when I was in the army was 1, don't point at anything you're not going to shoot.
Yep.
And 2, never keep your finger off the trigger.
And I thought there was 3. Treat the gun as though it's loaded, even if you know it's unloaded.
Yeah, well, that
Yeah,
is a
definitely.
third
If you know it's loaded.
Yeah,
treat it
definitely.
like it's
Yeah,
loaded.
you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm
You don't go
saying.
twirl in your finger, you know, twirl around your finger.
This is why you don't point at anything you're not going to shoot.
Yeah.
Now Bjorn says you don't need to own land to hold a hunting license in Sweden.
Oh, really? Well, that's what my friend had told me.
Is it just that they
So
don't
that
want
he
you
could get
going
his
shooting with them? Yeah, we'll tell him this.
No,
That'll
he-
keep him away.
Well,
Although, of course, alternatively, they could invite you and then just shoot you.
this is true. I mean, I did ask him, but that's what he was telling me anyways. You have to have hunting land before you could get his gun and his license and all that sort of stuff.
Well, what I can say is, using guns, I really enjoyed it. I found it fun. As I said, he had a range of guns: a 45 handgun, a 2.2, one of those, not Smith and Wessons. I can't remember the name of it. The rifle, Winchester. It's a Winchester. Why can't I?
Winchester.
Yeah, why can't I get that stuck? I've always keeps forgetting that. He also had a shotgun, a 12 gauge shotgun, and a couple of other things. We took them all so we could have a play with different weapons, and it was great. I had 2 shots with a shotgun, I think. One of them was absolutely fine, but the second one, I didn't bring it tight into my shoulder, and I ended up with a nice oval bruise on my shoulder the next morning. But I
Yeah,
did
you really want to snuggle her when you trip her.
Yeah, but no, I really
That
did
was
enjoy
good.
it. And as I said, I have kept this memento of that day in Arizona many years ago. It lives on my shelf.
Nice.
This is my first shot
Yeah.
ever, and I got the can. And I actually had just an air rifle
At
here.
least you wanted to throw that away on you.
No, I don't want to throw it away. But I actually got hold of an air rifle here. I sort of inherited it. I had it for a few years before I got rid of it. But I used to really enjoy playing with that, shooting little targets in the garden. The garden is long enough and backs onto a field. And I was actually quite a good shot. So in a way, it's a shame that I couldn't take up that shooting that I wanted to, the target shooting, because I think I was probably quite good at it. But there we go. Winchester,
You
that's a
should have
pub.
kept it and kept on playing with it.
Dora,
Yeah.
Dora reckons we should go to the Winchester to wait out the zombie invasion. There's a plan. There's a plan. Cornetto?
I think that sounds like a reference.
You're zombieing.
Oh no, we got a zombie in here. Oh,
Oh,
He's gone. He's gone.
he's
oh,
gone.
hooray! Again.
Right, Nimrod, you were roboting badly. Say again. You sound like you said. It sounds like a reference.
It is a reference to Shaun of the Dead.
It is
Yeah.
indeed. It is indeed. That's a plan,
That's a good movie. That's a great movie.
isn't it? Just I love it. Absolutely love that. Yeah.
Maybe you would robot less if you get that back on your shoulders. Maybe he works as an antenna.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. My hearing's not too good. I didn't catch what you said.
Maybe Nimrod would be roboting less if he put his cat up on his shoulders.
I see. Yeah,
She
that
works
could
on
be
the
true.
antenna.
Major Charles Winchester III. That was a good, MASH. That was, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, yes. He was the balding guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
Yes.
also played in an episode of Star Trek where he fell in love with Lwaxana Troy.
Did he?
I remember that.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm usually good, especially with the voices, at spotting a voice. You know, someone like that guesting. I think I know that voice, and then with the face, I can make the connection. But I don't recall that one.
He lived in his species. The sun was going out, and his species would kill off family members if they were over 60 years old, I believe. And so, yeah, he was due to be killed, but
Yes.
he had the information in
Yes.
order to save the sun. And yeah,
Yep. No, I do remember that one now. Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
if you ever need Star Trek knowledge, I'm your girl.
Well, I'm generally good good at Star Trek, and that's most Star Treks, but I just didn't recall that. But I do now. I can picture it now.
The
Yeah.
Next Generation.
Yes. Oh, One Sin says we could do At World's End route too, Mr. S. Yeah, I like that film, but it was just nothing on Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. Oh gosh, that's a brilliant
Hot Fuzz
film.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Both of them were great.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a
but
shame they
they're-
didn't do
they're-
more.
They're
Yeah.
a trilogy of movies, those three.
Yes. Of course, there's Paul as well, but that was quite different.
Yeah, I did quite enjoy Paul, and I wasn't quite a big fan of At World's End either.
Paul was
That was a bit
decent.
too much.
There was good bits
But,
in it. There was good bits in it, but just Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz were just
Yeah.
excellent all the way through.
They were
That's
crackers.
Mm.
They were more comedy horror films, which we have a stunning lack of. I mean, most horror films are like these jump scare and just it's sad representation. But when you get a good horror comedy, it's like it sticks, with you because it's just rare. It's a rarity.
Yeah, the Cornetto trilogy, definitely. Although in Paul, wasn't it in Paul, there's a bit where they show, I think they show sort of fencing at Area 51, and there's a Cornetto wrapper blown up against it, if I recall. And where was it? So I just read, oh yes, Repo Sandman said Logan's Run, AI killed off the population at 21 in the book, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Was it 21 or 25? Or maybe it's just 25 in the film. Is that why you're Repo Sandman? Is that right? I like Jessica. Definitely like Jessica. And what was that rubbishy looking robot in the sort of icy tunnels? Box it was called, wasn't it? The most rubbish looking robot I've ever seen. And that includes Robbie the robot and whatever it is from
What about the Gonk droid from Star Wars, the original one? Gong, gong, gong.
Gonk.
Mr. Sensible, have you ever thought of cosplaying as
It's
Captain
a garbage
Picard?
can with legs.
Sorry, cosplaying as what?
Captain Picard.
Captain Picard. Make it
You
so.
could do it. You could pull it off. You could definitely pull it off.
Say Earl Grey hot.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
There we go.
There we go. See?
I want to lose my glasses, didn't I?
Hot.
Or the...
Baseball, the epic baseball.
Hot.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Yeah, definitely.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
I'll tell you what, though, you mentioned Star Trek and how you know them. My earliest, just about my earliest memory is sitting down with my dad watching the original Star Trek. I can't remember the episodes, but I do remember sitting down and enjoying it with him.
That's one of my fondest memories too. We would actually stay up late at night just to watch The Next Generation, and when Deep Space Nine came out, we religiously watched that together.
Sorry,
And
they're just talking in the
Hang
chat.
on
Reaper Salman said Boxy. Boxy was a dog in, wasn't that in? Not Flash Gordon.
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica. Yes,
Is
it
it?
was that little sort of robot dog. No, the robot in Logan's Run was a tall robot. It's all sort of sharp angles, and it was sort of a mirror finish metal, and it was called Box, and it looked absolutely rubbish.
I think they were trying to copy. They were trying to copy K9 from Doctor Who. Honestly, what they were
Yes,
doing.
it did have similar looks, but wasn't that before? That must have been before K9, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I still say the most boring droid I've ever seen was the one that was from the original Star Wars, where is in that transport there,
But which-
collecting the bots all up.
What, the one that looked like two wheelie bins stuck one on top of the other, just sort
Yes,
of
that's
waddling
the most
along?
boring one.
What the hell
Gong,
could that do?
Gong,
Yeah, I
Gong.
see. Yes,
gong.
yes, I know which
Gong.
one you mean now.
That
yes.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the one I was really talking about.
Oh,
That's the most rubbish bot I think they could come up with.
But can he do the Picard maneuver? Yeah. I can do the Picard manoeuvre. Oh dear. Brent Spiner. Oh, Brent Spiner's impression of Sir Patrick. Yeah, Brent Spiner data. And Dora's posted a link to Logan's Run fan page mentioning Box. And there he is, Box, the insane cyborg. And doesn't he look rubbish? Yeah, so it's only a little picture of him, unfortunately. But yeah, he was a rubbish-looking robot.
Okay.
So you haven't looked at it?
Well, they have
You can see it's just it is literally a couple of boxes, and they've covered it with tin foil, I reckon.
well, they had a very limited budget, so I mean.
Well, they didn't spend any of it on the robot, did they?
No, they didn't. Certainly didn't.
I did enjoy that film, though.
The singer of one of my favorite bands is a trans woman, and in interviews she often says that her first memories are of gender dysphoria. But then she has also said in interviews that that's a bit of a true-fit modification, because her first memories are of gender dysphoria and Star Wars. So, yeah, sure, there was a lot of gender dysphoria, but there was a lot of Star Wars.
Oh, and sorry, Doran Coos corrected us. Boxy is the kid, and the dog is called Muffet. You're right about Muffet, but
yeah.
was the boy called Boxy? I mean, I remember the word Boxy. And wasn't there was also that other robot, DB. What was his name? Okay, Buck, DB. He said something like that. Thank you, Skits Crusher. He's just rewarded me with $2. That was a mighty fine Picard manoeuvre. Well, thank you, Skits. In fact, I think because of that, let me adjust a bit. It deserves a better one. There we go. Much better. Thank you for the super chat, pal. I appreciate that. And I better just check in case I've... No, I haven't. I just want to make sure I hadn't missed any. Because we don't look like that now, does we, my love? No, we don't like that. It's horrible when you miss out a super chat. And I always feel most guilty. Definitely. Tweaky. Thank you, guys. Tweaky. DB. Okay, Buck.
Tweaky.
Yeah, because he was a robot. He had that sort of medallion thing on him, didn't he? That sort of flashed with lights.
Was it Doctor something or other?
Hello. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell anyone, but I've pulled into the room Mr. Jones 1972, who I shall turn up the volume for. And was it Just Call Me Avi I just brought in?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. Greetings, guys.
Hello. How you doing?
Hey.
So, Mr. Jones 72, when was it he challenged you to a debate?
I think it was a few weeks ago now. He left a comment under one of Brett Keen's videos that's since been removed, and Matt Powell finds me really, really annoying currently.
Yeah.
So I'm getting under his skin. I have called him out on. I've called him out on a debate. I think it was on. I can't remember. I did a video and I called him out on a debate, and I did it on a live stream as well.
Yeah.
And I mentioned your video on the last video yesterday.
Right. Thank you.
And I posted a link underneath in the description.
So we should see it.
Yeah, and I did mention Matt Powell. I just showed a picture of him and said, this disgusting human being, etc., etc. So I might do the video on that, because he keeps bringing me up in his videos.
He does. I've seen him do that several times, and I did think, well, what have you done to get him so riled?
But he won't debate because he's a gutless fool.
Yeah, that's true. I think Forrest Valkyrie has called him out on a debate. Emailed him.
Oh yes, I heard about that.
He's not had a reply since yet.
So he's happily calling people out and then running away when they actually say, okay.
Yeah, he's doing YouTube's version of Knock a Door Run, isn't he?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Wouldn't scurrying away be a better way of saying it? Not running, but scurrying. And think cockroach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt scurries like a cockroach. I
He does,
hate
yeah.
him.
Like a cockroach.
Well, I do have a
Either way.
correction. A correction has been made. Thank you, Dora and Koo, because I did read out Dora's comment about Boxy, but actually Skunk Ape Productions is an even bigger nerd and got the correction in first. We just didn't see it. So thanks for that, Skunk. Appreciate it. And we got let's get them all in. We got Paid NASA Shill. Wow. Good evening, Paid NASA Shill. Still in shock, having suddenly been pulled into the live. There we go.
Let me turn on my microphone and turn off us watching the.
Yeah, that's all right. I know there's a delay. Good evening to you. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm absolutely fine. Just waiting for this month's check, of course.
Well, we have a problem with that because the English pound and the translation.
The translation into English pounds, yes.
Karen is a bit behind on the paperwork. It might take 3 to 4 business months. Don't worry.
Well, I do accept. I also accept Altarian dollars, Flanian pobble beads, or ningis. You can pay in those.
No one's going to get that.
Yeah.
The problem with pounds is that is that pounds. Is that a weight? Because weight doesn't exist. So.
I accept money by weight as well. Yes, several pounds of money by weight. That'll be fine.
Why is everything so much heavier in England? Like everything's done by pounds. Why is everything so much heavier?
I don't know.
Gold pressed latinum is what we use here in this country.
Yes.
I blame the Romans.
Well, isn't it Germany that banned Bitcoin?
No.
Jeremy banned Bitcoin?
Somebody did.
No, it was I believe it was China. No.
Was it? It was India, I think. India.
I'd actually laugh if it was China.
India. It was Egypt, Iraq, Qatar, Oman, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Bangladesh, and China have all banned cryptocurrency.
Yeah, because I think China are doing their own crypto, aren't they? They think they're doing their own crypto.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Repo Sandman says Matt parts his hair on the wrong side for his head. That's what makes me the most angry. Yeah, he parts on one side and it toughs out. You're right, that is annoying. That's just one more annoying thing about Mr. Powell.
Well, he parts it at all. I think he's just got out of bed when he does these videos. That's how it looks to me.
Oh, he's trying to have it as polished US TV evangelist, isn't he? Always wearing a shirt and tie, the tear-jerking music playing all the time in the background.
Like a good old American boy.
Fortunately for you, Mr. Sensible, you're not American, and you don't have to put up with these retards on a daily basis. But they're a real thing.
Yeah.
Well, we do have our own special people like Sleeping Warrior, Nathan Oakley, no less.
Leaky Warrior, you mean?
Yeah, and Nathan Oakley, Nathan Purple Toy Oakley.
Jotley. Nathan Jotley, you mean? Jotley.
Ah, PJ CNET, a man after my own heart. He says, my favourite sci-fi series as a kid was actually Blake 7. Definitely. And did you know, no, you wouldn't know this, PJ CNET, my hero in that was Avon, the computer whiz. Because of him, I got interested in computers and eventually had a career in IT. Brilliant TV series.
English cartoon or something?
No, it was a BBC sci-fi series. It was done very much on the cheap, but it looked good at the time. I actually had it all on video a few years back, but no longer. And it's quite hilarious looking at some of the special effects and that now. There's one bit they're running along a corridor, just like you get in Star Trek. There's always corridors with bulkheads, and they stop and they talk about something, and you can see all the bubbles in the wallpaper because they just slapped it up quick. It was great. It was great fun.
What's the name of the show?
Blake's 7. Blake and the others were, in effect, freedom fighters and criminals who managed to steal an alien spaceship and then spent their time fighting the Federation.
One of my favorite series, though, happens to be Red Dwarf.
Yeah, that's brilliant
Red Dwarf
as
is
well.
one of the best.
Yes.
Red Dwarf is also great.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And that's a really good sense of humour in that as well. I love it.
Yeah.
Which one is it? Which one is it that the toilets are alive?
Are you thinking of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where the doors have genuine people personality? Glad to be of service.
You shouldn't take.
Ted Franks,
No,
you
no,
have
the-
missed out on something here. You have missed out on something here. You've missed out on God, guns, live toilets, Star Trek, and many, many important things. You're going to have to rewatch it. Yes, Blake 7, wobbliest scenery on TV, but it was great fun. Babylon 5. Babylon 5 I quite enjoyed.
Babylon 5 was-
that was awesome too.
That was
Yeah, but
that
do you know what?
I
awesome,
kept
that
that on
series.
DVD.
Do you know
I
what
actually got that
annoyed
on
me about
DVD.
Babylon 5? The stupid bloody haircuts. We can.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't do what
the
Star
haircuts
Trek does.
were-
Let's colour their skin, put lumps and bumps to make them look alien. No, they just stuck a different haircut on them.
Well,
The thing about Babylon 5, and the reason you don't see it in syndication, is it actually had a story arc, and
Yeah.
unlike Star Trek, that you can like jump in at anyone and say, okay, he's here, he's here, he's here. It's its own independent.
Yes.
It was actually a story arc to
Definitely.
it. You just-
Story arcs are great, aren't they? I mean, the Star Trek had several stories that popped in every now and then, and one or two double or triple
right,
episodes.
but each show you could basically watch independently
You could.
of the story arc.
And
And
talking
you really couldn't do that with Babylon 5.
Talking about Blake 7, Dora Nku says Servalan was the best. She was the Earth Prime Minister, President. That's it, President of the Federation. And I always remember one time Blake, I'm sure it was Blake or was it Avon, said to her, "If you lived next door to me, I'd move." And she said, "Where to?" He says, "Next door." Wow, what a smooth line that is.
What about Farscape?
Farscape. Yes, because that was with the live ship, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
Farscape
yeah. Farscape was great. Lex
like
was
Farscape.
too. Lex was pretty good too.
Lex was more of an adult series, though, wasn't it?
Never
It was
watched
really
Lex.
for
That's
kids.
about the one I haven't watched, I think.
Lex was, oh my god.
I could never figure out why.
Disturbing.
I can never figure out why
On my
Doctor
trip.
Who. I can never figure out why Doctor Who caught on in the United States. I mean, you have these really super intelligent robots that have plungers for appendages.
Yeah, well, I love Doctor Who. Doctor Who's one of the best.
But you
I can
should
never
see
figure
the
out
really old stuff, and the original Doctor Who was grandfather who went off in his TARDIS with his children.
Grandchildren.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, beg your pardon. Grandchildren, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I've not got a problem really with it, but it just feels a bit wrong that they're talking about a possibility of a female Doctor Who because he is male. He was a grandfather, but then I think he was a human. Then he wasn't a Time Lord. So who am I to comment?
Yeah.
They changed it, didn't they? Because towards the end of the season, they wanted to change out the actor, so they changed the plot
Yeah.
completely. So the original series wasn't the one that we have today.
No.
Up until the last two episodes.
I did enjoy the Doctor Who movies with the Daleks. They were good.
That's not the BBC version, though, was it? That's more like the American version.
It's the American version, yeah.
Yeah, it's the
What's
American
the difference
version.
between the BBC version and the American version?
What was it, like 2100 AD or something like that?
That does sound
I tell you
familiar.
what, like, was the spin-off Torchwood.
It was Paul McGann that played the Doctor. wasn't it?
Other spin-off.
Other than we,
Sorry, I
Other
just
than we
need to
didn't
read.
watch-
I just need to read this super chat from Bjorn Kamitz for 50 Swedish krona, and right now it won't let me get into the IFTTT. There we go. This has been great. Unfortunately, I have to be responsible and get some sleep for tomorrow's job. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Bjorn. Much appreciated. You take care. Have a good night.
how
Good
much is
night.
53 kroner?
I can retire now. I can retire. and Doran Koo says for €2 says got to go. Too nerdy for me. I'll secretly be lurking. Thank you, Dora.
So Dora's a secret nerd then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Dora's always lurking around. Yeah.
And nothing secret about it.
Yeah. Dora is one of my favourite stalkers. Definitely.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Peter Cushing.
sense,
PJ CNET, you're right. Peter Cushing was in that film, wasn't he? The Doctor Who film.
Yeah. The original plot for that, though, was he was supposed to be the father, but that was when Peter Cushing's wife died, didn't she? And he literally went completely skeleton-like.
He was-
wasted away when she died, and so he was supposed to play the father, but they looked at him as like there's nothing there. He looks
Yeah.
more like an old man.
Yeah.
So that's why they changed it to grandfather instead.
Oh.
Okay.
And then I see
what was different
a
about
couple
the-
other shows, Chigley and Trumpton mentioned. No, they were great shows for kids. They're not the sort of sci-fi. How do we get onto sci-fi? God and guns. Let's talk Star Trek.
And yes,
Because at
Mike
least the-
71. Mike 71 is correct. Tom Baker was the best Doctor.
I like Tom, definitely. He was a fool, wasn't he? He was
Scarf.
silly, but I liked him.
That's
Okay, the guy with the scarf.
Scarf.
We started talking about sci-fi
We should
because
be
you're obsessed with
able to-
that box robot from Logan.
Oh,
Paul.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
In the film, they changed it. In the book, what that robot is supposed to do is it brings in all the supplies to the city, and every city has one of those robots.
Ah.
That's what they were for. But they changed it to make it just absolutely really weird.
and it killed
stupid.
runners, didn't it?
Yeah, it killed them and then froze them,
Yeah, like you do, for some strange reason.
swinging its arms around.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Those,
Cringy
Oh,
even for the time.
I always thought the coolest robots were the ones in Silent Running that kind of walked on their arms.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
They
that's
had
one of my,
amputees in there doing them. Like, it took me a while to figure out how they were doing it.
Well, I thought the robots
Oh.
in the black hole were better.
well, I
What's the
love
name of
Huey,
that
Dewey, and Louie.
junkyard- What's the name of that junkyard owner from Star Wars that walks on his arms?
Watto.
Yes,
Watto.
Yeah.
Watto.
but he's got wings, hasn't he?
Yeah, he had, yeah.
Yeah, he had wings. He could
Wings.
hover. Yeah. And
with those with the Peter Cushing Doctor Who movies, I haven't seen them, but I have seen one clip of them, and I obviously can't judge on the whole movie, but I hate that clip for one reason. A companion or someone gets into the TARDIS and he says like, "Oh, it's beyond the inside. How come?" Like, "Oh, that's a weird wallpaper. How can you have that?" Like, it's not it's just a little surprise. It's not like a maze that is bigger on the inside. No, it's like, "Oh, that's unusual."
Yeah, it's bigger on the inside.
It's so underwhelming.
I thought it was a great idea with the TARDIS. And Robsky says Klaatu, Barato, Nikto. Definitely.
Kato Barata Nick
That was a good film.
Necktie.
What was his name?
He
Gort?
says it
Was his
yeah,
name
he
Gort?
says it once, but she has to keep saying it again and again. It's like, did you not hear me the first time? Alexa, is that you?
The first one was much
N-word.
better than the first one was
That's
so
an
much better than
N-word.
the remake. The remake sucked. I'm sorry.
What, with Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
One
Yes,
science
because that was
fiction
with all
question.
the sort of nanite things, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing that got me about that is that's the way if the aliens actually came down in a spaceship and landed on the Washington Mall, it would make a statement as opposed to landing in somewhere, Toadsuck, Arkansas, and seeing, Cooter and his three cousins that are all inbreds.
Yeah, but
We'll play,
what are they
we'll play
called?
banjos.
Yeah, but that's like from Hitchhiker's Guide. You would buzz them.
Yeah.
What do you mean buzz them? You'd land in the middle of nowhere, find some no-hope person that no one's going to believe, and then you get out your spaceship and you strut up and down in front of them making beep-beep noises.
I like that, actually. He was smart. He made a lot of sense in some of that stuff.
He was brilliant. I tell you what, that is one man I would love to have met and chatted to. Definitely.
I do like the fact that he was making a joke about 7 times 9 equals 54, and then they found out that it works in base 13 or something.
It's 42. 6 times 9, 42, yeah.
6 to 9, 42.
Robsky,
And then,
thank you. Gort, thank you. My mind has not failed me.
Gort.
And then his response was after seeing that is that I don't write jokes in base 13.
Oh dear. Right, well, I know that it's not particularly late, but I said this would probably be a short stream. I've really, really enjoyed it. I always say that because I always do. I tell you what, I'll be honest, occasionally when I'm going to do a stream and I think to myself, do you know what, I really ought to do a stream to cover this or that, or I haven't done a stream for a while. But invariably, the moment I start, I love it, absolutely love it, because you guys help make it all great.
Well,
And I like the best when I'm able to talk to you.
I do appreciate you.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you ganging up on a truly despicable human being who unfortunately is an American.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how he can call himself a Christian.
No.
With the things that he says. I
no.
really
No,
don't understand that.
And actually, that's something I haven't made clear, because I have made clear about the guns aspect of it. But just in case anyone's wondering, yes, I'm atheist. No, I do not believe in God. And I think that people are mistaken. However, I totally accept that they have the right to hold those beliefs. I totally accept and understand that people get comfort from those beliefs. I am not having a pop at the Christian religion or indeed any other religion. I am aiming totally 100% at Matt Powell and his foul twisting of things to further a religion. Okay,
Yeah.
It's not against the religion itself. I have my own views on that, but that's separate.
Even if the Christian God exists, Matt Powell is still an asshole.
Sorry, I did miss that, Micro.
Even if the Christian God exists, Matt Powell is still an asshole.
He is.
Yeah.
And I can
And
only...
if a Christian God exists, he'd be going straight to the underworld.
That's what I think. You know,
Permanently.
just from my knowledge of the Bible, and there's much in the Bible that is harsh and confusing, shall we say? Because I'm not going to argue the toss over it. You know, things like slavery and so on. But the message from Jesus is love and forgiveness and all this, and he is so unlike that. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you get.
Didn't Jesus say to love your neighbors, no matter who they were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like Mr. Jones just said, of course he's got an awful lot of hate for those who are gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and trans.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I've got to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if he had even more hate for that.
Probably.
Zumi. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Like hate like Christian love.
Yeah. Well, Skunk Ape has just said, I'm Christian, but Matt Powell is what we call a fundamentalist Christian. Well, that's true, but I think you can even have fundamentalist Christians who perhaps read the Bible very literally and so on, but they're not necessarily as hate-filled as him. You know, they may or may not be wrong, depending on your views, but they don't necessarily twist things and lie. That's what he does. I think he's just beyond the pale. I really do.
Or is he an extremist? Is he a religious extremist?
Yeah.
He's a young Earth creationist, yeah.
Oh, nice one. Second Best Bob says his mate is subscribed. Welcome to the channel. Thank you very much. There you go, Bob. You keep dragging them in one at a time. One day we'll get to 13,000. Thanks, pal. You've got me 12,500 so far, Bob. Another 500 shouldn't be a problem for you. Thank you. That's
and
nice.
Someday, God 420 will get a blue badge on that channel out there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to. I think there's probably. I mean, did any of you guys in here have any particular last words to say? Because there's about 10 of you in here tonight, so it will take you half an hour to go through you all. So, has anyone got anything in particular you want to say?
Not really, not from my end.
No. Okay.
I do.
Just party on, dudes and dudettes throughout the Discord.
Definitely party on, dudes, and be excellent to one another. That's the message.
Be excellent to one another.
Be excellent to one another.
Right, guys,
And don't panic.
And don't panic. Yes, wise words from the panel tonight, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chuck you all in the live waiting room. And if you want to have a little chat for a little while, anyone out there who fancies coming into the live waiting room just to chat with these guys and with each other, please just drop on in. You don't need a mic and headphones. You won't get dragged on live now, so don't worry about that. So come in and say hello. Guys, I'm going to chuck you over there, and I'll join you in a few minutes when I've wound the stream up, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Right. Good night, all of you.
Good night.
There's too many to say. Some of them are getting it in, but I'm just dragging them all over quickly. Oh, that one got cut off, sorry. Good grief, we had quite a lot in tonight. I think that's probably the most. I've really enjoyed that. They're all gone. Sat in the live waiting room, so if you want to have a chat with them, please jump on in. The Discord link should be in the description. There is. Yes, I think that's the latest one. No, not throw excrement at one another. Be excellent to one another. This is Bill and Ted 3. I do love Bill and Ted. Right. I am going to say thank you very much for joining me. Thank you, all of you who come time and time again and support me. To the members, to the patrons, to those who super chatted, I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Not sure what the next video will be, because I've got some weird shifts. I'm working 10-12 for the next 2 days, which doesn't help things. Then I've got 2 nights, but it does mean I get the days to try and do some videos. That's right, I'm not allowed to sleep. At least I think that's what it is. Mrs. S says I can't go in the bedroom anyway. I assumed it's just that I'm not allowed to sleep and I have to work. Never mind. We shall see. Please take care, look after yourself, stay well and stay sensible.
Mr. Sensible, Mr. Sensible, bring me some cheese, and get me only the best if you please, best if you please. Here are some flowers, let me display them. Yea, Dr. Warner, you have gone all slay them. Mr. Sensible, Mr. Sensible, you are a man. Every subscriber is a faithful fan. Bring your logic and your cheese. Mr. Sensible, help us out, please. Mr. Sensible, Mr. Sensible, I needed proof of gravity, so I jump off the roof, It's hard enough, let me go further. Why was I ever such a darn flat earther? Mr. Sensible, I'm such a clown, I am the laughing stock of the town. Bring your logic and your cheese. Mr. Sensible, help me out, please. Mr. Sensible, bring me a sphere, to which the waters of the oceans adhere, add explanations, but let me be candid. So clear that all the fluff must understand it, Mr. Sensible.